How are we all doing today? It is another lovely last days of summer, beginning days of fall day over here in Oneonta, New York, as Karma and I take our walk and talk. And it's been all over me. I actually wanted to go out a little earlier. So, when is everybody going to start freaking out? Because I'll tell you what, the rhetoric is pretty. Oh, no. All right, hopefully we're back. And like I said, the rhetoric is pretty hardcore right now when we're talking about Iran. All right, look, I gotta tell you, I'm not in love with a lot of Middle Eastern policies, a lot of the culture there, but what I certainly don't want is some provocated nonsense war that is all over the place. Now, let's look at just a few of the things that have been said over the past few days. I didn't do a video on this one, but when I saw that Trump actually said that if, Saudi Arabia wanted to, we'd be sending troops, but unlike other administrations, we were going to be paid for it. What? Now, this wasn't a tweet either. First of all, backdoor deals have always happened with other administrations, et cetera, on behalf of Saudi Arabia, Israel, the United Kingdom, and other interests. We'll call them corporate interests, not just state-run interests, right? So to say that our U.S. military hasn't been for hire in some cases, well, I would disagree. A lot of pressure put on by think tanks, et cetera, have proven that that's just not the case. Now, to be so open, honest, and outward about it, well, that's pretty scary. We've yet to see any kind of actual evidence, at least I have. Have you seen any evidence of Saudi Arabia being attacked by Iran? Iran continues to deny that had anything to do with oil fields, by the way. No loss of human life. Let me repeat that. No loss of human life, which at some point, right, it should definitely, I would say, be a measurement of whether or not we should be willing to give other human lives. It shouldn't be all about oil. Thank you. I don't know why you stopped, but okay. I'm just gonna let you go. And then to say, basically we're a private military group. Come on, Carm, what are you doing? We're a private military group where if Saudi Arabia wants, we're going to send our troops over. That's insane. Insane. Now, as far as whether, the Houthi rebels are the ones actually responsible, or this is some kind of a, espionage type spycraft event, I don't know that it matters. You haven't shown us any evidence that Iran has done this. Now, Iran, on the other hand, has said, look, if we get attacked in that region, it is going to be all-out war in the Gulf. You know how many military installations we have out there? Okay? This ain't going to be no cakewalk. It's going to be the real fucking deal. And I hope that some of you guys who aren't paying attention realize that you better be ready to say goodbye to some loved ones that are stationed in that region. How we doing, Cliff? Good to see you. So, number one, I want nothing to do with that military conflict. I don't think anybody should that has a thinking brain, because a nation of 80 million people that's having its leaders on television saying we will fight to the last American soldier, that's not a good thing. What is victory in these nations? Victory doesn't look like victory, does it, Karma? No. Victory looks like Afghanistan. Victory looks like Iraq. Victory looks like Syria? I don't know. I guess we never declared victory there, but we never declared we were in a full-on conflict. We always masked that it was, we're going to get rid of ISIS. We're getting rid of ISIS. But in reality, everybody that's paid attention knows that this has been and always was about getting U.S. interests in Syria and getting rid of Bashir al-Assad. Syria, remember, part of that initial axes of evil they put out there. Load of horse shit. Wesley Clark talked about Syria being one of those targets of this group directly after 9/11. And remember, guys, here we are. It's been now over 18 years. And has the war on terror stopped? Has it expanded? Has our military presence around the world expanded? You bet it has. And the people here at home who are standing up against this have become fewer and fewer, and the voices that are anti-war have become fewer and fewer. And it's sad to me, because you would think, the rest of us get it, that somebody making, I don't know, $34,000 a year for the military. I mean, if you go overseas, a little bit more, right? You get some bonuses depending on how you're doing it, 30 to 40 grand. They would really be fighting for our quote unquote freedom, not for Saudi Arabia and oil fields and the almighty petrodollar and the markets and the control of the few who control those markets and those oil fields in a system of pure rule by bloodline. I mean, guys, again, everybody wants to talk about, you know what's funny to me? When we talk about identity politics in this country, remember, you look at these presidential debates and war, it's almost like the war on terror is not really going on, except for occasionally talking about leaving Afghanistan, or that, Bashir al-Assad is a bad guy, I guess, if it got brought up by Tulsi Gabbard, that what we were doing there is, moot. Otherwise, it's nothing. It's all identity politics, right? Well, while we're sitting here talking about the differences between you and I as American citizens, and whether we're originated from South America or Africa or the UK or Europe, etc., 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 Greenland, who cares? Who fucking cares what color you are here? I don't care. Most people give no care. It's about content of character. It's about you being a good person. It's about you relating with your friends, family, and neighbors, right? And it's all of those races that are on the chopping block when we go overseas. You want to talk about the real racism, man? You look at the people that we're bombing. I'd say the lightest complexion people that we're taking out in any way, shape, or form are probably the ones on the Gaza Strip in relation to Israel and the annexation there. And that's not a good thing. But we are absolutely decimating parts of Africa through Africa. And again, every color of the rainbow, man, serves in our U.S. military. You watch those Modelo commercials. They're big now on, Hispanic military guys, whatever. We should all be against this. For what? Oil, money, and power? This is nuts. I was wondering, this isn't I thought these guys had a dog up here, but it looks like some kind of a bag. Oh, I don't know. How do you guys feel in the chat over here? I mean, do you want to go to war? I don't want to go to war. And I certainly don't want to do it more in the Middle East against a nation of 80 million people that has an actual military. I think that is absolute insanity, but maybe you don't. Maybe you think we should go. I mean, I know there are some people out there that want to wear a red hat and say everything the guy does is great, but saying things like that without any kind of evidence, letting Pompeo get up there and say there's no doubt that this is in fact an attack of Iran, and show no evidence to us before he commits more and more people to that region, is absolute insanity. Does not need to be done. In fact, the opposite needs to be done. Promises need to be kept about getting people out of that region, because the Gulf region is large. And if you don't think that the Iranian Revolutionary Guard, if attacked, won't go into places like Afghanistan and Iraq and use their assets there and arm military there. I saw today that supposedly the Taliban had a wave of suicide bombs that killed 20. Now, I don't know one way or the other whether the Taliban was involved in any suicide bombs, but isn't it crazy that all of a sudden there's all this escalation in the Middle East as soon as the president supposedly wants to have talks with the Taliban at Camp David on 9/11? A little suspect, and then all of a sudden when he gets rid of Bolton, it comes out that he was talking about lifting sanctions on Iran, not putting heavier sanctions on Iran, which has now happened. Think about that swing. Less than a 2-week swing of the president, who can make a big difference in this, right? Standing up to the military-industrial complex and the deep state and saying, you know what, maybe these sanctions on Iran are not working. Maybe we do need to go the diplomacy route. And why don't we talk to the Taliban and bring them into Camp David and see what we can do about stabilizing that region and get our troops out? That shit all sounds reasonable to me. And where are we now? We're on the other side of that spectrum. We're totally and completely on the opposite end of that reasonability. And that's a big ass problem. Oh, so that's my 2 cents, guys. Again, this is going to be all over the media. 46 thumbs up, 152 watching. Please, on the way out, thumbs this up. If you're new to this, we do more than walk and talks with this lovely, majestic beast, Karma Angelo, my baby lady. We do a lot more. We dig into documents. And you know what? I'm reading that PEOC 911 DOD, Secretary of Defense, everybody document. It's pretty compelling, but it's a while to really grasp what's going on. So that's why I haven't done the Air Force One video. I will be doing that in the future, and we're going to still kick out the jams today, maybe put out a couple of classics over the next couple days. And I want to say I love you all, and I will see you on the flip. Hit that subscribe button and ring that bell.